coffee like I'm that.
Alright, you guys are live.
A little dark, a little strong.
You guys are good wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I know, but it just works with the coffee.
I like my coffee like I like the women.
Put a spoon in it.
Light. Light and sweet.
You've seen that skit.
So,
I told you, I've been rolling this whole time.
awesome.
By the way, I'm totally using all of that.
Please don't.
Too late.
Should we like open the door? I don't know if people.
No, people will come in. They'll come in.
I can crack the door.
Do you want to?
Crack the door so people hear us, because I couldn't tell where we were when I walked down the stairs.
You went the wrong way.
Alright, so we're married.
Okay,
So this is the panel of, so you married someone in the gaming industry, now what? Whenever you go to panels, it's always about, let's discuss how you do stuff for Kickstarter, let's discuss how you figure out how to make it in the gaming industry. You never hear about the significant others. You never hear about the support system. So that's what we're here for. We're here to tell you our side of the story. So, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Okay, I'm Kate Beeman Martinez. I am involved with Avenel Wing and Vinny Salazillo. They put on some conventions. You probably heard of it, DexCon Dreamation, the one we're at right now, as well as the Envoy program, which is supporting small game companies get their product out there. That is a nationwide organization.
It's a lot more than I was going to say. Alison Cardinal. I am married to Matthias Benici, who is putting out with Dave Simpson, your significant other as well. Rampaging Jotun, Dragon Chess, among other things, and is a game designer.
I'm Madeline Simpson, married to Dave Simpson. Not only does he do the games, I'm actually going to focus more on his podcast. This way we have a different perspectives. He does his Gamers on Games podcast. So, now that you know us, let's start talking about different things. First and foremost, as a significant other, one of the things we do most is we wear many hats. Like, not many people realize how much we do to help our significant others with whatever projects or conventions or anything that they're doing. It's not just we show up, look pretty, and go, hey, we're here to support. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more than just being there. I know for me, I've done anything from being the cameraman for his podcast. I've starred in lots of his podcasts, whether I was asked to or not. Just happens. I've helped him with ideas. I've promoted for him through Facebook, through making sure that buttons actually get to people because he forgets. And another thing we do, like, I usually help him, or sometimes I help him with when he's doing the podcast, and I'll make sure that things are going right. If I see something he doesn't, I'll help him with that. There's a lot of things that go into it besides just showing up. Do you wanna?
Okay.
You guys?
So for me, I've taken a step back from being a big convention support and have been more focused on making sure that the three of us have a good time and we enjoy ourselves and still like each other at the end of the convention. A lot of being someone who's involved with two partners who are as active in the gaming industry as they are is constantly living with the gaming industry in my living room, which is fine because I get to hear, you know, like the latest gossip or like, oh, this person is working on X game and they're super excited, and oh, Harold was down at this con and look at all these really cool pictures, look at this great stuff that we're doing. And so I get all the really good energy that comes with being involved the way that they are. And I also get some of the bad stuff too. This guy's card's been declined for a third time. Why? Like, this isn't okay. And a lot of stuff like that, or last minute, like, paper runs. Like, oh, we're out of goldenrod paper. You need to go to Staples right now, and if it's not goldenrod, you have to go to the next Staples. And I frequently am the person that will go get the last minute stuff because everyone else is doing mission critical things, and I'm freer to go to Staples and pick up envelopes or go drive up to the airport to go pick up a guest. So that's a lot of what my personal support is.
Yeah, mine is strictly game design, so it's a lot of prototypes and building prototypes and giving opinions on what do you think of this, which direction would this work, you know, giving suggestions for different stuff like Titanfall, Jotunfall, sorry. Yeah, you get to be a personal cheerleader, you get to tell somebody that, you know, like, you can keep doing it, this is gonna work, this is going well, you know, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. You also take a lot of notes. I know I do during a lot of playtesting. Like if they're playtesting, I'll be the person taking notes. So if they forget it, you can still come back to them and say, well, this is, you know, what this person said, and then they can use it towards the game design.
And then they steal your shoebox and use it for everything.
There's also a lot of food
You
involved.
have to buy more shoes.
That is obvious. That is obviously
What I'm
the answer there.
referencing, since my husband works with her husband, Dave stole one of my shoeboxes and was carrying around his game that he was showing off in a size 10 women's shoes. And one day I was like, why? Thank you. I have big feet. I'm like, why are my shoes? Why are you taking my shoes with you? No, this is my game. It's a perfect box. It's good. I'm like,
What are my shoes in?
where are my shoes? So that happens a lot. A lot of your stuff will get recycled.
Reallocated. It also involves a lot of food for us. Vinny, if he's working on the schedule, would be completely tunnel visioned on the schedule. And he'll look up after, a 7-hour stint and be like, I'm starving, I don't know what I want to eat. And so either Abby or I will be like, okay, do you want Burger King? Okay, do you want McDonald's? Do you want Five Guys? Okay, you don't want a burger, do you want Chinese? Do you want it? Okay, no, I'm sorry, Dunkin' Donuts does not have the watermelon culotta. You can't have that, pick another. Okay, yes, I will drive to the Bronx, to the specific pizza place, and I will get you that pizza if it means that you will get schedule done. And so there's a lot of caretaking in that respect. When he's doing the schedule, we watch a lot of movies. We also watch a lot of Ancient Aliens. And what?
Murder Channel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Murder Channel.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, we do a lot of Ancient Aliens because he'll zone out to it, and I'm the only one that'll watch it with him. Everyone else kind of runs screaming, and so it's very similar to how someone who's working on their doctorate or their really busy at work. If they're really focused on a project, you're going to support your partner. You're going to, say, hey, do you want me to pick up anything to eat? Do you have enough snacks in the house? What drink are you drinking right now? Like, what is your current happy? And making sure that it's there.
And you kind of expect the same thing, like if you're working,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a project in the future, that they're going to be as equally supportive. So it's,
That's a really great thing, is that when I was working on my senior thesis, I remember at one point looking up and just ice cream had appeared. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of just making it happen.
Yeah. So, I have a question for you guys. When's the last time you went on a vacation with your significant others that had nothing to do with gaming?
Vegas trip.
Oh, you're better than me.
or 2010.
Thank you.
You avoided the
Vegas.
sick Vegas trip.
I forgot about Vegas 3 years ago. Before that was a little longer.
Yeah.
We do a lot of weekend trips. We do more weekend trips than full out vacation. A lot of, up until recently when Vinny and Abby both went full-time for double exposure, it was a lot of, getting the vacation time.
Yeah.
I'm still in the working world, more working for somebody else instead of working for double exposure. And so I have to fight with figuring out time off for that as well. And this year is really different for us because with Envoy, both Abby and Vinny are doing many more conventions. Excuse me. And so they are going to be out of town a lot more, and so a lot of my support is going to be not going to the convention where I will not be happy.
Yeah. I know for me, like this month alone, we're going to 3 different conventions out of the 4 weekends in April. Last time we went on a real vacation was our 2nd anniversary. We're going on anniversary number 5 this year. That sounds about right. You basically, your vacation time will, what the?
It's a microphone. Just be quiet.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's a droid.
Hello.
This is not the droid.
Oh my god, why is it looking at me?
Hello,
Matty! Hello, Matty!
Blinked.
That's exactly how this is going to start on our recording.
Hello, all of you!
Why would you give this to us, Andy?
He didn't prepare us. If it was here, we would have already played with it. This would have been over.
No, I told.
We're also geeks.
Yeah,
We're nerdy.
which I think helps. I do know a lot of people in the industry where their significant other is not into gaming, it's not into doing this, and they spend a lot of time separated. So I personally think it's better being involved. This way you could do it together and you get to see each other. It's nice to see.
But
Once in a
that
while.
being said, like couples that do the one part of the couple is into gaming and nerdery in general, and the other half isn't. They're able to make their relationships work.
Yes.
I cannot speak to that yet because this year is the first year where I'm not going to be going to, like, with them to all of the conventions. I'll be at our conventions, but I think there are 7 conventions on the docket so far. That's like Gen Con Origins, Hoosier Con.
Was that a one-time thing?
BronyCon. That was a one-time thing.
That was a cross.
That was Abby. That was
cross-promotion.
us cross promoting.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of conventions that are coming up that they're going to be going to where I'm going to be staying home, and so I'll be able to speak more to the partner that doesn't go with them.
And you, of course, actually, you're a good person to talk about because you didn't go to the conventions in the beginning.
No.
So you're a good
For a
person.
long time, yeah.
So how did it work with you guys?
It was his own thing, and he wanted to go do it. But I played games and everything. The conventions were always like I'd gone to conventions in the past, but they didn't really feel like unless I was working it, I didn't really enjoy it that much.
Okay.
So like panels are like for me, like I want to be doing something.
So this
Very-
is torture for you right now.
No, I'm doing something.
She's actively
I'm
participating.
doing something right now.
Yeah, she's doodling.
Yeah, made a happy little person.
Yeah.
But back to the
But how did it affect your relationship in the beginning? Like, do you find it easier to go with him, or is it you just make it work?
We make it work, baby. We make it work. So it's like, okay, you're going to the convention. I mean, I don't really see how it strengthens or doesn't going to the convention or not. for me.
So I guess before. Oh my God! It turned me.
And it lit up.
Oh good God! That was really
It
creepy.
is a really creepy thing.
Okay, so I guess the question is like, how many conventions did Matthias go to before you started being more active in going to conventions?
Just for game design?
Mhm.
A couple of years.
A couple.
Yeah.
And when he was off at cons, what were you just hanging out, doing other stuff, making plans, and it just was just like he just went out of town for the weekend on a business trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to look at it. That it's going on a business trip. It just happens to coincide with the weekend instead of a weekday.
I do like it better that she's at the cons with me.
That is generally the case. I know that when Vinny has been like at Gen Con, he'll call me like, I miss you. Why aren't you here? I'm like, well, because it's in Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like, and also, you know, it's really loud there. I can't do that. So I'm glad you're having a good time. Yay! Not nearly as patronizing as.
That's when the rest of us get to go, like, what do you want to eat? You want this? Do you want that? Do you want this?
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with that there. That's awful. Because I don't know what I have for options.
I think since Dave and I have been together for 8 years, I think there's only 2 cons that I didn't go with him. Like, I've been to, like, basically everything with him, so.
I did that one.
So, like, I've always just gone, like, usually, especially in the beginning, I was more of a, did you eat? Do you want me to get you food? I could get you food, and he just looks up like, yes. And then goes back to showing off his games. So that was, like, my big role in the beginning. Then I started to actually know the games, and somehow it became helping him show off the games. Don't know how
Well, you're an attractive woman.
What's that to do with showing off the games?
He was using you as bait.
So speaking of that, our next topic is moral, financial, and professional support. So, as we've touched on a lot, it's more than just we're there to support. There's a lot of time that goes into it and a lot of money because unfortunately, not every convention feeds you 3 meals a day. So, like, do you have like your own little budget of just I'll set this aside for when I go and help them just because it does get expensive. It gets really expensive going to conventions all the time because you have to worry about food, you have to worry about where you're sleeping, if you see anything at the vendors and you're like, oh, I want to buy this, it adds up. It really does.
It really does.
Yeah. So like how do you guys, you have like a little like pocket of money that you save or you just, like how do you
He has his
handle
own
that?
account. He pays for things himself. Whatever he spends, he's got to pay attention to what he spends. So he's got to budget himself.
I have to budget myself.
I generally don't buy very much, so.
Neither do I. Mostly for me, it's food. And throughout the year, I put like a little bit aside. You know, like I'll plan for, throw a number out there. I plan like, put $20 aside a month for convention, general convention spending. If there's something in the dealer's room that I really want, it generally just arrives to me. Sometimes on a pillow. That's a joke.
Okay, you could tell us that it's a joke.
Well, I was suddenly feeling a little insecure about my joke. But a lot of the expenses that I end up footing are purely my own, because the conventions have, it's part of the business, and that all comes out of the corporate account and comes out of the whatever budget. Like I stay very far away from how much money is being put out for various stuff. Like Andy will come through and have the receipts for ConSuite, and I walk out of the room because I can't hear it because it's like, oh dear God, I could have bought like 7 pairs of shoes with that. Oh my God, I could have done, I could have done this to the house, or I'm blanking. I could have bought something for my car.
It's being funneled into.
Yeah, and because it's not the family money, it's the business money. I have a difficult time separating the two, and so it's just better that I just don't hear the numbers, and it makes for a much happier living dynamic. Because if I heard it, it would just. What?
I can agree to that to a point, because after a while you just start seeing different gaming things around the house, and you're just like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
How are you paying for all of this?
Yeah, it definitely was more difficult when it was the same account, so having a separate account really does help alleviate some of the, why did you
stress.
spend that on another game? Because it's, why did you spend that on another game?
Right. And I think that having separate accounts for things like companies spending you know, the podcast or the conventions or the game design, it takes the stress off of the partner
Yeah.
and removes some of the internal judgments that you may have. Like, what do you mean you just bought another Space Marine? Like, you have like 30,000 of them. Why did you just get another one? No, you know what? It is your personal account. You know how much money you have at a given point, and I know that you have this in hand.
That's also why I don't go my attic. Because I know
That's
that's
a
where you
good
hide a
call.
lot of
That's a
things.
good call. Sometimes it is better just to stay out of like
Yeah.
the
Certain
amount
areas
of
to stay
toys
away.
that come in.
Yeah, for something like that, you don't want to have one account for everything. You really do have to
No,
separate
you need
it.
to. You need
Yeah.
to.
Otherwise, you will be.
And also for like, you know, taxes at the end of the year, because I mean, we could go to breakfast with a client, or you know, take Tiny and Marianne out to dinner, and we talk about convention stuff. That's a tax write-off,
Yeah.
because then it's a business meeting and a business conversation. Yes, we're also talking about, you know, what's going on with the families, but it's also like having that separate, very carefully separated. It takes a lot of stress out of the relationship.
Is there like a business credit card too? So makes it a little
Now
easier.
there is. For a while, it was just Vinny. Until I think Abby and Andy put their foot down and were like, no, we need business accounts.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot easier for Andy to go run over to Sam's Club and, you know, drop the massive
to
amount
say
of
the
money. No, the massive amount of money on cold cuts and bread and chips and soda, without him, you know, shilling out, you know, from his own account, saying, you know, like, okay, Vinny, I need you to pay me back. Or remembering that, hey, Vinny, I need you to pay me back, and said he'll just put it on the corporate account and just hand over the receipts. And it makes it a hell of a lot easier to run the business that way.
And then there's no question at the end of the year, like, did you have a party?
Right. There isn't, because it's all on that, and we know that, you know, Andy's not going to go wild at Amazon.com buying ridiculous presents for people on the corporate account. He'll do that on his credit card, but not the corporate account, and that's his decision, because it's separate.
That's a hint, Andy.
No, he's
Okay.
recording
No,
this. He's recording this.
We like crazy gifts.
Alright,
Yeah.
so that was the financial aspect. Let's talk more about the moral. Like, so our significant others are working on a big project and it doesn't work out. And then they get really depressed, they get really sad. You're really the only person to really bring them up, because not many people see that side. They might put on like a hard exterior while they're at that place of, oh yeah, it didn't work out, it's fine. But you don't realize as soon as they come home, it's not pretty. So like, I know I've helped Dave out with lots of his projects that didn't work. Not saying that they all don't work, they do, but there are sometimes where you really need to be there for them more than just at the convention. Like, there's a lot of time at home where you have to really like calm them down or say, no, you're doing a good job, you know, just keep going and you'll get there. I'm sure you guys are the same way with all the different projects they do.
I know I'm a designer also, so I'm very project driven and figuring out how the project works. So when something isn't working, at least I can speak on a same level as like, well, what about this? And you know, this person gave this suggestion, but I'm not sure about this one. It might not work. Or you know, take the suggestion, but you don't have to do it. You know, if it doesn't work. So it's kind of, at least I have the advantage of having a similar mindset of that. But you know, so sometimes it doesn't work, and you have to tell them like, not everything works, not everything everyone's gonna like.
And you can't lie. You can't lie to try to save their feelings. You have to be honest, because they are trusting you to be completely honest. If you lie to them,
See, and I disagree with that a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a fine line of finesse where, again, Vinny's the one that gets the most up and down when it comes to projects. where, the project could be going fantastically and, Excel's decided to freak out, and he's been working on this for 12 hours and he's exhausted, and someone will lose their shit. And just like, okay, no, we're done, we're closing the laptop, that's it, no more game talk. Or alternatively, letting him rage. Letting, them work out whatever is going on at that moment and letting them express it. Or just leaving them the hell alone and going away.
Yeah.
Abby and I have very different caretaking styles. Abby will be near but not on. It's a phrase we use for one of the cats, but it's really very appropriate for this particular situation, in that she can be, sitting in her chair next to him within reach, so that at some point he'll be like, stupid, and he'll just reach his hand out and she'll pet his hand and soothe him a little. Do you want something to drink? Do you want to put something on TV? Okay, well, if you change your mind, you let me know. I'm going to be here. Or I'm going to be in the kitchen doing laundry. Let me know if you need something. Whereas me, I will climb up his butt and be like, what's wrong? Can I do it? I'm sorry, you're sad. What do I do?
I might kill you.
Yes. And that particular personality quirk of mine has put a lot of strain. And so it is difficult for me to not internalize Vinny is screaming at his laptop because Illustrator has decided that it's not going to open today. And I've had to actively not take it personally.
That's probably one of the hardest
It
things.
is so
to
hard.
Not take personally. 'Cause I know they'll lash out, and you have to remember, okay, it's not me. They're frustrated with the game. They're frustrated with what they're trying to do. And I know with Dave, with all of his editing, he'll get frustrated because the editing he can't get it right, or it won't work, or it crashes, and yeah, it's really warm.
It's
Yeah.
really warm.
And I really want to wear this jacket.
It's a slamming jacket.
I know. I was like, should I take it off? It's really warm. No, I really want to wear it.
Really
Sucker.
awesome.
If we can't, jacket has to come off.
Yeah, it's really.
And you're not
Anyway,
I
saying-
think there's one over there, maybe.
One thing to ask is this about me or is this about your project?
Yeah, you have to
And if they go, oops, this is about the project, you go, okay, I'm gonna go over
Yeah.
there.
yeah, and
It
don't
is-
fight with them.
It is so hard. Abby, I have to say, Abby is amazing at it. And then sometimes she'll scream back at him, and that'll shock him out of whatever has, really gotten him, and will calm him down.
There is a quality to being calm, and then as soon as you're not, it's surprising enough that it has more
Yeah.
effective than screaming all the time.
I've discovered that for me and for my peace of mind and my own mental health, that I just need to leave. And we've established very specific wording. Okay, this is not you. This is me trying to take care of me. If you need me, call me. I'm gonna be outside. Or I'm gonna go run errands. If you decide that you need something from the grocery store, let me know and I'll pick it up for you. Decide what you'd like for dinner. If I don't hear from you in an hour, I will call and see what you want for dinner.
And then say, this is not guilt, this is straight honesty. Tell me if you need anything.
Right.
If you don't, I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, because the three of us, we're real homebodies, and we aside from the conventions, we will just hole up in our house. And so to not have the space of our home during convention time is difficult. But at the same time, it has taken, we've been involved for, 2003.
12 years.
12 years, thank you. 12 years. And it has taken the past year and a half for me to really kind of name what I need versus what they need and trying to find that middle ground. And it's a constant balancing act.
Oh, it is.
It's constant. Like you're constantly renegotiating situations, renegotiating, you know, obligations, chore lists, you know, going out, making plans to visit family or friends, or going down to Atlantic City. Like, it's a constant negotiation. And just like any relationship, it's still, you're needing to do that conversation.
Yeah.
And needing to make sure that when you decide, like, okay, this week we've decided that I'm gonna take care of all the garbage because we're on deadline for a particular product launch. And so I have to remember that just because we made the negotiation 2 weeks ago that Abby will bring in the garbage cans every week, I need to now renegotiate that because now there's a product launch and their energies are diverted elsewhere.
You have to step up because they're elsewhere, so you really have to take control of the situation at home.
Definitely.
Just because otherwise it won't get done. Not saying that they don't want to, it's just,
But it goes back to the focusing thing.
yeah.
Like they're focusing on a project.
Speaking of home, how do you find the balance between personal, full-time, and like gaming? Like, how do you find the balance of working full-time, having them doing the game industry, and you still finding time for each other?
Right now, we're in a point where we're in a renegotiation phase because of Envoy. That has completely rewritten the landscape for us because Vinny's office is our living room. And that's where he's most comfortable. So it's different from, 3 years ago where I would walk into the house and no one would be home except the cats. And now I'm walking into the house and I could hear, laughter as he's on a conference, MSNBC going on, Dragon Age being played, and because, he works anywhere between 16 and 18 hours a day, because he'll just wake up at, crazy o'clock, and then he'll conk out at like 4 o'clock, take a nap, and then he's up and he's going again. And so it's a lot of us trying to figure out what's going to work for us. And now that Abby's home all the time too, we're literally at the start of figuring out how to make our home lives work and balance it.
It's juggling. It's a lot of juggling. And sometimes it's more of one thing, sometimes it's more of the other. Sometimes it's, okay, the game's a little bit on a back burner right now, or maybe you're waiting for something to happen, or, maybe it's just cutting stuff out, and at the same time, because we make a lot of prototypes. Like, I've cut out so many cards. Again, designer, cutting out, we both are doing it at the same time, same mindset, but oh my god, so you're sitting there like, cutting stuff out so it's game, but at the same time you're talking to each other or watching and listening to a movie.
Yeah.
So it's personal with game design. So sometimes they coincide, sometimes it's more one than the other. It varies.
We actually kind of do a game night, not game night, date night. Like Friday nights are usually our night where we go out to dinner, might see a movie, and that's like our time where we don't really talk about games unless he bought another one. Happens.
You want him just as much as he does. Let's be fair here, because Maddie is just as much a board gamer as Dave is.
But I mean, we do that. Like, we have a TV show that we watch. Like, we're watching a series right now on Netflix. So if there's nothing going, we're like, let's throw in Breaking Bad. Yeah, we're really far behind. Let's throw in Breaking Bad, and we'll watch that together. Like, it's not always all the time, but we find like a little bit here and there where we're like, all right, and he's like, okay, I'm good. I don't have a backlog right now, so I'm good with that aspect. I'm like, all right, well, I'm home from work. Let's do something. And we always just try to like make sure we don't talk about gaming all the time. And like, you kind of need that.
Yes.
I feel like you need that little like break.
For us, before Envoy really launched in January, we would do a lot of, and we still do. Like right now we're watching The Flash and Arrow and finally catching up on the current season. So good.
It's on my list.
Oh my god. So we would watch something, and that would be a lot of our bonding time.
Yeah.
And a lot of our like you know, I would be, you know, screwing around my phone, Abby would be on Facebook or doing some networking of some sort, and Vinny will be plugging away at I don't know what. But now it's changed because he's doing conference calls across the country, and so he'll have conference calls going into 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And so right now it's a lot of catch as catch can.
Yeah.
And I'm having to learn to say, okay, I need a night. I need a night that I know that you are scheduled out for the next week. I'd like to schedule a night where there is no conference calls, where it's just the three of us, even if it is just us watching The Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
Just it's so that there's no conference call, so we can have that moment. Or
It really helps.
and we've also started a family meeting, actually, of like, okay, so, and bring, that way we're airing grievances. Like, Kate, you have not washed laundry in 3 days. This needs to stop. I have no underwear. Like, you need, if you need to renegotiate the laundry situation, you need to do it because I am in need. And that has helped tremendously. And a lot of that is also based around my mental health, because I have a lot of mental health issues. So we've discovered that family meeting night is very important. We do that every 2 to 3 weeks, and you know we'll give each other assignments. Now, Kate, now think about this thing, or hey, what do we want to do for your birthday? And so that works really well for us, and I don't know how much of that is based on the fact that we're a triad and not a a more normative duo. It just works better for the three of us because Vinny will say something to Abby and think that he's told us both. Or I will say something to Abby and think I've told them both. Abby generally hears all of it. Vinny and I don't always hear all of it. We do a lot of email.
See, I get that with friends or people that he's working with. He'll think he'll have told me about it, but he told the person he's working
Work with, yeah.
And then it's like, so Saturday we're gonna do this. Wait, what? It's like, oh, I thought I told you. No.
I get the complete opposite. I get people contact me. So I tried to get together with Dave, and he says I'll talk to you because you're the holder of the schedule. So
That's
I'm
adorable.
like,